Morning, guys.
This is the Winning at Work and Home podcast with Damon Eddy, dedicated to helping individuals not only win at work, but more importantly, win at home and in life. Helping individuals define what true success looks like for them, and helping them live that success daily, allowing more freedom to passionately love the people and enjoy the things that matter most in their life. Welcome to the Winning at Work and Home podcast with Damon Eddy.
Let me go ahead. Not a good intro today. Well, morning, guys. Welcome to, I think this is episode 134, 133. I can't remember what I put. I may have put it wrong. We are getting to 2021, and I'm not sure, like most people, everybody seems excited to put 2020 in the past, which is good. But in order to do that, right, there's got to be some changes in our life. Right? In order to have a better year, often what we have to do is or not often, we have to change. We have to get better. We have to grow. We have to set new habits, form new habits, set new disciplines in our life. So, I don't know what necessarily will change in 2021, other than what normally happens. So one of the things that I want to talk about today that I think is incredibly important is, I talked about goal setting, the title of this, goal setting, making it simple. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of you may be setting goals this year. You may be getting that going. I know this is the time of year where people do that, or they already have their goals set. But it's really sticking to the goals, right? It's really sticking to the commitments, forming the good habits, and seeing it through. That's going to make a huge difference. And in my reading this morning, I was reading some great stuff, and kind of inspired me to talk about this during this episode. And that's mostly what I do. Anyways, I don't necessarily have anything planned so much in regards to what I'm going to talk about, because I like to have it just flow, and if a thought comes to my mind, to share it with you guys, because I feel that that's what I can be the most passionate about. So I want to talk about it because I want to ask you a question. Are you setting goals? Do you normally set goals? How do you set goals? Do you stay committed to your goals? I mean, this is very, very important. I want to read this quote from you too, from what I read this morning. That's kind of started this too a little bit in regards to. This is from James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh, which is an amazing little book. You can read it in probably 20 minutes. But I like that he says, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. We're talking about we want 2021 to be a better year than 2020. And there are a lot of outside circumstances that we can control. And those outside circumstances may get better or they may not get better. I'm not sure in 2021. But one of the things that we can control is we can control our thoughts. Hopefully we can get better at controlling our thoughts. We can form better habits. We can look to improve ourselves, which if you look to improve yourself, then often what happens just naturally is your circumstances or your results get a little bit better. So that's one of the things that we can choose. But when we talk about goal setting, it's very interesting. There's so many different ways to set goals. There's so many different, books on goal setting. There's so many different people talk about it. I heard a podcast the other day in regards to some guys that I know was on it, and they talked about, well, you got to have a big enough why. And he seemed pretty adamant in regards to you don't have a big enough why. I mean, you don't need that. So, I mean, there's so many different opinions, right? I've talked about it before that you do need a why, that you do need to, have something that you can go to help you push through or move through. but really, I want to make this simple. I want to make this simple. And what I feel happens a lot is not having a good system or not having a good plan, not writing things down. I think is incredibly important. So let me try to collect my thoughts in regards to this. But I feel that most people know what it is that they need to do. I really, really do. Not everybody is aware. Not everybody takes the time to really kind of think about it. But I think deep down, most people know what it is that they need to do. It's following through on that and having the plan and having a plan that you can actually execute and a system to follow through on what it is that you need to do. And guys, I've talked about this before, and I think it's so important. I feel that deep down, most of us know what we need to do physically, right? For our body, for our health. We do. I mean, we really do. It's following through on what that is. That's what's where the results are, right? We can have a bunch of knowledge or know what it is that needs to be done, but unless we execute and go through and do it over a period of time, we're not going to get the results. And then when we don't get the results, then we get discouraged, and then we don't continue, and we may, go back to something else or try something different. But I really feel that most of the time we know what it is that we're supposed to do. So then the question is, how do we then execute on those things, right? And I think there's a couple things. I think, we can achieve success in certain areas of our life, but then neglect other areas of our life, okay? And then we don't feel that great about ourselves, right? You could be crushing it in the workplace. You could be crushing it as a real estate agent, but if you're coming home or you're not being able to go to your kids' events, which are kind of off right now, you're probably around your kids maybe more than you want to be, but if you're doing really good, but then you're not being a good dad or you're not being a good mom, or your relationship is struggling or your health is struggling, you're not going to feel good, right? It's just not going to go, right? You might be doing great in real estate or in your business, but I mean, what's it for? You're not going to feel good. And vice versa too. You could be, being a great dad, amazing dad, which is incredibly important. But then deep down, there's something in there that says you should be maybe doing a little bit more in your business, right? And doing those disciplines that'll help you succeed or achieve the results that you're trying to achieve in your business. So, it's really coming down to having that quote balanced life, which there is no such thing as a quote balanced life in regards to time. But what I mean by that is you identify, and I talk about this all the time, but I'm passionate about it. You identify the areas that are important to you. Your spiritual life, your relationships, your health, your passions, whatever it may be. You identify, okay, what you want that to look like and the activities that you need to do in those key areas. And then you do those activities. So it's not about time, right? It's about doing the right things in those key activities, those core areas every single day. That's what it's about. And to identify that. And a lot of times we know what it is, right? If we're in a relationship and we know that we need to spend more time with our spouse, and we talked about, we need to go on a date night every single week. You need to go on a date night every single week. It's not confusing. It's not complicated. But the thing is, it's easy not to do that. It's maybe easier not to go on the date night than to take the time and to, you may be tired and you may not have the energy. So it's much easier not to do that. But that's where commitment comes in to what it is that you're trying to do. And that's important. You have to be a person that can commit to things. So going back to that, if you're listening to this, the broad thing, I want to simplify it. I want to give you a system that simplifies all this, right? So when we talk about it, the most people know what it is that they need to do. They know what it is that you need to do. If you don't, you got good people who are hopefully support, or give me a call, shoot me a text, let's meet, and I can help you identify that. But most of the time, we actually know what it is that we need to do, right? As a real estate agent, sometimes we overcomplicate things. I talk about this. It's about contacting people. It's about reaching out to people and serving them and having communication with them. And that's what you need to do. If you do that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you will crush it in real estate the more people that you communicate to. It's not complicated, right? There's other things that get confusing. So anyways, so to make this simple, number one is I think you got to identify the areas. I talked about this before, guys. I'm a big believer in writing stuff down. I really, really believe you need to write stuff down. You need to have it somewhere. And I guess you can type it on your phone or whatever it may be, but you need to be able to see it every single day, what it is that you're trying to commit to, who it is that you're trying to be. All these different things are going to be important. So you need to write it down. You need to see it every single day. You need to see it every single day. You need to know what it is that you're trying to achieve. I think where a big plan is, most people don't write it down. They don't have it somewhere. They're not seeing it every single day. They're not seeing what it is, and therefore they forget about it. They just go through the day. But a big thing is you need to plan your day before it starts. This is actually my day page. I want to show this to you. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. This is my day page. This is for today. I got a lot of stuff written down all day. I got my key activities. I got my to-do list. I have some notes here that I was going to talk about today. And then I have some project reminders and some long-term visions. So every single day that gets filled out. Every single morning that gets filled out. And you don't have to use the day page or whatever it may be. But what I'm trying to tell you is I think you really need to have something that you write that down every single day. It becomes repetitive, right? So it's breaking down what you need to do in those most important areas of your life. I think where people fail sometimes is they have too many things on their list, and they don't get it all done. And they think they need to do all these different things. But really, guys, it comes down to in the key areas of your life, let's say your spiritual life, your relationships, your health, your business, whatever else it may be. There's 4 or 5 key areas of your life. Just what you need to do is, number one, you need to go ahead and break down the one activity that if you did every single day will give you the greatest results. Just identify that activity, whatever it may be. There's not 1,000 things you need to do. Just write down the one thing. Write down the one thing. Write down the one activity in the most important areas of your life. For example, and I talked about this before, and if you're in a marriage, if you're in a relationship, there's a great test. I'm sure you guys have heard it, the 5 love languages. If your individual likes words of affirmation, your one thing for that day could be to say 1 to 2 kind words to that individual. That's not complicated. It's not confusing, right? This is where I want to get into this podcast of making goal setting simple. Okay, so if one of your goals is to be a better husband, all right, and your spouse's love language is, words of affirmation, if you wrote down every single day, amazing husband, and then you wrote underneath that 1 to 3 kind words, every single day, just say the 1 to 3 kind words. And if you did that 5 to 6 days a week, do you think your relationship may change a little bit? Hopefully it would improve. And guys, I'm not trying to say that life isn't hard, life isn't challenging, that's, if you just do that one activity in that area, that it's just all going to be roses. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, to have something written down, have something, an activity, the most important activity, one of the most important activities in those most important areas of your life, and get it done. I also call them the non-negotiables, the things that are non-negotiable, that are going to get done in the day. And it's interesting, if you have like 4 or 5 key areas of your life, so your spiritual life, your relationship, maybe that's a parent, or a marriage, right? 2 things right there. Your health, and then your business. That's 5 things. That's 5 things. If you have identified in those 5 areas the one activity, okay, that you need to do, the 1 to 2 activities you need to do, and then you do them every single day, you're going to get amazing results. But I think what we do is, like I said, we overcomplicate it. I hope I'm making sense here. We overcomplicate it. And we don't write it down, and then we forget. I think a big trick is to see it every single day and to check yourself. Check yourself every single evening. Did I get done what it is that I needed to get done? My non-negotiables, my goals, my tasks, did I get that done? Did I get it done? And then if you didn't, like yesterday, there was some stuff that I didn't get done. I didn't hit certain areas that I didn't complete all of my non-negotiables. I was okay. I didn't beat myself up about it, but I felt good because I was aware of it. Say, okay, I didn't hit that non-negotiable activity. Tomorrow, I'll work on getting that done and hit it. And the more consistent you are with it, I mean, you may work out where you're writing that down every single day and you're only committing to it 50% of the time. But what's going to happen is if you continue to write it down, you know, that not checking it off the list, or not, you know, when you review the end of the day, let's say if you have it on your iPhone or whatever it may be, however your system is, if you're going through and you're reviewing your day every single evening, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to want to not get it done, I guess, at the end of the day, right? But you're aware. You're not going to let a week go by. You're not going to let months or a year go by. You're going to be aware of that daily activity. So I think it's incredibly important. I just want you to understand, it could be a yellow legal pad where you're just writing down your non-negotiables, the key activities that you need to do for that particular day. Now, this is not a to-do list. This is not a to-do list. I have on my day page a to-do list, which is separate from my non-negotiables. My non-negotiable activities are those 1 to 2 activities in the most important areas of my life that need to get done on a daily basis. If I look at every single one of them on my list, they really don't take too much time. They really don't. Probably the most time that's taken on an activity, you know, maybe, for example, this, right? Doing this podcast and then getting it uploaded and getting it off, that, you know, 45 minutes. But most of my activities don't take that long. Maybe my workout is, you know, 30, 40 minutes. So it really doesn't take that much time. But I think it's coming up with a system and a plan to make sure that you get it done. So I really want you to understand that, guys, that we're going back. You make it simple, identify, you know, the areas that you want to improve, identify, you know, the 1 to 2 activities that most of the time you know what it is that you need to get done. I think write those activities down, see them every single day, and then do them. Now there's some hacks, there's some tricks. I mean, I really think your most important activities, your non-negotiables, you for the most part, a lot of those activities, whether it's in our business, whatever it may be, they need to get done in the morning. They need to get done before the morning gets started. That's why I like to get up early, is because by 11:30, 12 o'clock, you know, sometimes I've already worked, 6 hours in the day. So I'm good. The afternoon's free, whatever I need to do, or, you know, I can deal with the other less important activities or meet with clients, whatever it may be. But if you get that stuff done in the morning, those activities that may be challenging before the day gets out of control, then that's going to help. Yeah. So hopefully that made sense. I do this so much in regards to, you know, the planning it out. But number one, identify, and I talked about this before. If you know me, identify what areas you're trying to improve. Okay, what do you want to do? Like for me, it's connected to God. Number one is connected to God. Number two is amazing husband and father. Number three is super fit. Number four, I have a coaching income that I'm trying to pursue. This is number four. And then I have, for my team lead position at Keller Williams, I have another goal. And then I have a real estate goal. So I have 6 different visions, 6 different things in my life, kind of my activities that I'm really trying to improve on or work on, the most important activities. And then underneath that, I write down the 1 to 2 things that I need to get done in those areas. Every single day, I write it down. And then I also look at my schedule. That's a big thing too. I look at my schedule and I see where, okay, depending on the different meetings that I may have, I schedule my non-negotiables. So I know exactly, like right now it is 6:53. I was supposed to start this podcast at 6:45. And I know that I'm going to be doing this, working on this podcast from 6:45 until about 7:30. And then I have to post it from 7:30 to 7:45, and then I have a meeting at 8. So I go ahead and then I write the time down next to the non-negotiable, or the non-negotiable, when that's going to get done. And then I try to stick to that schedule. And I'm not really a scheduled person, right? I'm kind of options open kind of guy. I don't like to necessarily schedule, but what works for me is I need to know what it is that I need to do in the day. I need to check it off a list, and I like to identify it. And then I really just kind of schedule in, or I put where I'm going to do those non-negotiable items, and I try to get them all done by noon. Separate from, being an amazing husband and father, I don't try to be a crappy one after in the afternoon or in the evening, right? So guys, I hope that made sense. I hope it did. One of the things that I felt like I was a little rambled today. I felt like I didn't really have, was clear in my thoughts. But I want to offer you, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to text me or whatever it may be, or you want to communicate with me, this day page, this system right here, I will go ahead and send to you. I'll just go ahead and send it to you as a gift. I mean, I don't care. I'll just send it to you, and you can kind of tweak it, and then we can discuss it and go over it. But it's such an amazing system, and such a simple system to keep you on track every single day. It really, really does work. It really, really does. And I'm a big believer in writing stuff down. I'm a big believer in having it somewhere, right? And sometimes what we do is we get distracted in our phone, because our phone is like a supercomputer. It has so much stuff in there. So if we have it in our phone, that's great. But often what we do is when we look at the phone and when we start getting in the phone, I think subconsciously we start wanting to check and kind of go to other areas, and then we forget the reason why, if we're goal setting or planning on our phone, why we went there to begin with. There's that natural pull, but I think there's something about pen to paper, right? Or pencil to paper, to where it's not an electronic, it's not a phone, you're actually writing stuff down, right? Which I think is almost a lost habit sometimes. You're writing things down, and you're really kind of planning it out. Now you can do this on your computer and, different things like that, but I really feel the key is to have it with you, have it where you can see it, have it where every evening you're planning the day before it starts. You know your non-negotiable activities, you know what it is that you need to get done. And I think that's going to be huge. I'm very much into simplifying things. Just simplify it. Don't complicate it. Don't come up with I don't think you need a crazy system for goals or a crazy plan. Just identify what it is you need to get done in the day, and be disciplined and committed enough to get it done. Just do that. Identify it. Simple. Don't make it complicated. I think sometimes we make it complicated so we then have an excuse, right? Or we spend more time planning or really coming up with a system that we would just be write down the activity and then check it off the list, get it done. But what Jim Rohn talks about, what's simple to do is simple not to do. So I think that's where it comes in a little bit. So hope that made sense, guys. Felt a little off today, so forgive me. I felt a little scattered, but hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, call me, text me, and we can communicate, and I can clarify it for you. That might be the best way to do it. So, all right, guys, have a great Wednesday. Talk to you later.